This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I'll create one thing is remaining in your for loop. So we have seen the range function as far as the for loop is concerned. The how to not range function, range class as far as for loop is concerned. We'll have to see the zip function right now, which is also predominantly can be used with the for loop. So I will create a new package. Call this as loop statement 2. What about tomorrow, Archita? How's it?
I'm not sure he will be coming or not. We can ask in the group. He was asking me about tomorrow's timing. So I said, we didn't have class in the morning. We have it in the evening.
Hmm.
So he asked me the timing. I pinged him 7 o'clock. Then he didn't reply anything, whether he wants to join or anything.
Okay, okay. So I'll create a new Python file. I'll call this as zip function as the file name.
Maybe we can discuss in the group if Sandeep wants to join tomorrow if he's feeling better
Hmm.
for the session. Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you about the zip function. Zip function actually combines two lists, two or more than two lists, and gives a combined list. And second thing that you need to understand is what traffic.
Yeah,
Zip
it's Friday.
function, Friday, and that too, you know, crossing
Your
that tin
office is
factory is a pain.
your office is in Whitefield.
Madhepura.
Okay.
So zip function combines, but the resultant list will have those number of elements as the number of elements as a number of elements uh, present in a list will combine with those number of elements as so combines, but the resultant list will have those number of as in those number of elements by taking a list whose by taking a list whose number of elements is lesser. So zip function combines, but the resultant list will have those number of elements by taking the list whose number of elements is lesser. That is what it will do. So I can basically define two lists. Let's say L1 is equal to a list containing, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 40, and a list 2 which contains 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So I can keep the use the zip functions directly. I can zip in two lists and keep it to a variable, let's say L3. So this will be this L3 will be the resultant list. Now, if you look at the number of elements out here is equal to 4, the number of elements out here is 6. Resultant list will contain number of elements which will be having elements which will be equal to the list which contains less number. You actually combine two lists, right? The combination, the combined list will contain, if you look at, if I show you, first of all, the type which the L3 belongs to. L3 is also a list, obviously, but it's a zip function. So let me create a configuration file. Sandeep has sent some message.
Is joining?
No. So print type 13, L3, sorry. So this will, so you can see zip is a class. It's a class, not a function. This is wrong. And if I iterate over the list, obviously it is a list, belongs to the list class. It's a class by itself. So you can basically, L3 is becoming nothing but a zip class. So if I iterate, for example, I have two variables a comma b in L3, and I basically print out a and print out b. Let me restart it. Okay, it has gone. Now run this. So if you look at A contains the value of L1 10, B contains the value of 100. Then second time it contains the value of L1 equal to 20, L2 is 200. Check this out. Then 30, 300, 40, 400. 30, 300. Again A 40, 400. Now it doesn't basically print out for 500. Why? Because it takes the resultant list will have number of elements as the number of elements in a list which is less in number.
Okay.
So that is how it creates.
Okay.
So basically it does
What if we directly try printing L3
without the zip.
without the for loop? L3 is
Hmm.
equal to, we are given the zip function, right? Without the for loop, can we print L3?
Yeah, you can print this out. You will see that it is giving you a zip object as this.
Okay.
So it is just creating an instance of it. This is the instance.
Yeah. Okay.
With object at this particular. This is the instance actually. So it doesn't give you actually the list. So if you want to get the values of this list, it's a zip. Zip is a class. So this class. So this is actually nothing but you are actually printing out the object of the class.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to get the values of it, you have to use a for loop. A will contain the first element of L1, B will contain the first element of L2 when it goes for the first grouping. And this for loop will run as number of times as the list which contains less number of elements.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So I can give out here that and just write down for your reference. The for loop will iterate those number of times as the list containing less number of elements. That is what it will do. So this iteration of for loop, the iteration of for loop will happen as L1 or as list L1 contains less number of elements as compared to list L2. This is how you need to infer it. Now, I can also have, now this is a list of numbers, so I can predominantly basically give you something like for C comma D in L3, or I can directly call the zip class out here and define the values as L1 comma L2. Can directly define the values like this, and now I can do mathematical operations. where the first element of L1 is added with the first element of L2. So I can basically print out A plus B, sorry, C plus D. C plus D, and after that if you run this will be another list. So, let's run this. This is what I get.
Okay.
I can do mathematical operations. It can be any mathematical operation. So we can modulo. Now this is for each iteration you are getting. Okay. Now this is the power of the print command. If I just C plus D outside of the for loop, what value will I get? So if we use the printout outside of for, the final value of the addition happening in for loop will be printed. If you look at the for loop, this for loop is going to go for 4 iterations. So why it is going to go for 4 iterations? The iteration of the for loop will be 4 times because the number of elements of L1 is less than the number of elements of L2. So I can define it out here, not here. So if I print it out, I'll just get the final value.
Yeah. Mm.
So that's the power of the println command. It's the way that you use it and where do you use it and what result do you want to get.
Mhm.
I think that finish up the zip. So you can just use for combination of list. You can't use zip for. Can you use zip for the combination of dictionary or tuple? Can I use it for tuple? Let's see that. Using of zip class for tuple. Tuple is something which is immutable.
Yeah.
So first thing you have to do, you understand that it is immutable. So that means to understand it in a very clear sense, it cannot be changed. You cannot remove anything, cannot add anything. So there is a tuple called T1 whose value is defined. I'll take numbers. You can have now the mathematical operations cannot be possible for lists which are of different formats. This is a list of numbers. This is a list of alphabets. You can't add that. Mathematical operation not possible. That is understood. This is 10, 20, 30, for example. I'll have T2 is equal to 100 comma 200 comma 300 comma 400 comma 500. Now, can I use as if functions to zip into tuples? So I can basically use the for loop directly with zip to combine. So I can use a for loop. There has to be two variables e and f in zip t1 comma t2. And if I print out e and print out f, so if I run this, the tuple will again, this is again going to iterate how many times? As a number of elements present in a tuple which is having less number of elements. So you see it is iterating for three times. First iteration, the value of e is 10. The second same iteration, the value of f is 100. E 10 belongs to T1, 100 belongs to T2. 20 and 200 for the second loop. 20 belongs to T1 and 200 belongs to T2. Third, third loop, this is the value. 30 is the value of E, 300 is the value of F, which is getting from the third element of both the list. After that, there is no iteration because this has higher number of elements, this has lower number of elements, and number of iterations will happen based on the fact that which tuple has the less number of elements.
Yeah.
That is how it is. So obviously, you can understand that I can do mathematical operations for this also then.
Okay. Yeah.
And for example, I may also have a zip function used with uh, list of number and list of let's say alphabets. A list of not alphabet also string it is actually. So I'll use a differentiator to differentiate the answers. So you can have we have used two lists, right? Even L2. No, this will be L4 is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30 and L5 let's say is equal to this is a list of strings. Let's say Kaushik, Sam, Robert, John. So if I use for let's say GH in the zip class, I can pass L4 comma L5. Now yes, you cannot do mathematical operation, but you can zip this out. So print G H. If I run this, you will get 10 for a, so it will iterate for three times because this list has a less number of elements. So 10 Kaushik, is the first iteration result. Second iteration result is 20 Sam. Third iteration is 30 Robert, where 10, 20, and 30 are the values of G for the three iterations respectively. Kaushik, Sam, and Robert are the values of the variable H for three iterations happening for the for loop. You can create a zip function like this. But yes, you can understand there's no mathematical operations cannot be possible for list of number and list of string. So you can basically use a for out here. The first thing that you need to do is that there will be an error. G H I comma J. I comma J in zip of L4 comma L5. Now if I print out, now I will hold numbers. So this has to be converted to a string. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the plus sign. So I should be converted to a string, and then you can concatenate with another string that is held in a variable called j. In the similar fashion, so this is the mathematical cannot be only concatenation operator. Since it is a concatenation, that is why the non-string values has to be converted to a string value by using the string function out here. If I run this, it will be a concatenation point. 10 Kaushik, you can see 20 Sam and 30 Robert. If I don't convert it to a string, there will be an error out here in the console of your PyCharm. Now the third part is can we use a zip function in a dictionary? So zip function in dictionary. Use a differentiator out here. D1 is equal to we'll have to have a curly brace. Key should be unique. So num1 the value should be let's say 10 comma you will have num2 comma num3 is equal to 30. I call this as D2. I'll call this as num4 100, num5 200, num6 300, and then you have num7 colon 400. Now can we use a zip out here with the for loop? We'll use ijk comma l in zip class containing d1 comma d2, and you print out. Now what will k hold and what will l hold? It is showing you the keys. You can see that num1 with num4 value of k for the, so how many times it is going to loop in? Three times, because there are three elements in D1, and obviously the for loop will loop in those number of times as one of the dictionaries contains less number of elements. So is it going to loop in three times? So this is num1 combined with num4. That is the value of k and l for the first loop. Then the second iteration, the value of k and l will be num2 and num5. And for the third iteration, the value of k and l will be num3 and num6 respectively. So this is giving you what? It prints out, prints the keys only. How do you get the values? How do you get the values to print the values? Is it possible to print the values? That is the first question. So I'll have to copy this and have a different variable, for example, mn. So
It's M and M.
what I have to write down? M dot. What will I get?
Value. Do we have anything like that?
Upper, lower. These are string functions. You can see that because print takes a string value, right? Always. These are all your string functions. Count, encode, ends with. They are all your string functions.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you need to do then? If I put dot also out here, I will only get none, not, true, lambda, for, false. These are nothing but kind of a boolean
Mm-hmm.
uh, values. I can't use it out here also. Now please understand one thing, it is iterating over the keys. It is not, you're not able to get the values of it.
Yeah.
These are the values. Then what you should do? So let's look at a factor out here. Can M and O be casted to a dictionary? How do you do casting of M? Can I also do casting of, this is how you do casting in Python. So P will hold the casted value.
Right.
You convert because M and N holds a string value. You're casting a string to a, now it holds the Boolean value right now. Okay. Or basically it holds the values of the dictionary. So right now the values that you're getting are individual only keys. Can you cast it to a dictionary first? And then you use O dot. Can I get the values and put it to a variable Q? And similarly, R will hold the values of P dot values. And then I print out,
Q and R.
I'm commenting it so that you can see it later on. I should not remove this because you need to see what's happening. Oh, So what should I print out now?
Q.
Print Q, print R. I will put all these things after this print. So what is happening? I'm converting the values and casting it to dictionary, so you can get the keys from this for loop. Otherwise, it is not possible. You saw it is only printing out the keys. I want the values right now. So cast it to a dictionary
Hmm.
and then use the value method of the dictionary. This is casting to a dictionary. Dictionary class. No, you want to basically see what is the type for n. Int is the type for n. That is will be also the type for n.
Yes.
And I will comment the rest of the code and run this. At least it will loop in how many times? Three times. Yeah, that's fine. At least we can get the type of m and n belongs to. It belongs to a string class. You can see that.
Yeah.
So it belongs to the string class. It belongs to the. Now you can cast it from dictionary from string class. Print it out. I'm going to comment this right now. Already showing a value dictionary update. Print. This is dictionary right now. Convert it to a string by using the str function. So what you need to do, str of q.
Okay.
Now run this. Sequence element 0 has length 1 and 2 is required.
Line number 73.
In line number 73, value error, dictionary update sequence elements has length of 1 and 2 required. Hmm. So to converting to dictionary,
For two values. So try editing.
Give you the same error, I think. Yeah. Num 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not getting dictionary dot values. Values are also coming as exit code 1. Okay. So are giving you only the keys. You're basically zipping the keys only. How do you allocate the values of the keys?
Can't we do directly d1 dot values? O is equal to
How, what?
d1 dot values. Directly.
You already zipping it out.
Okay, okay, yeah, right.
Mm,
So now when we're
okay.
trying to calculate d1 and value two things.
Yes. We are going the getting the we are looking for it out here. So getting the dictionary values, iterating it is 3 times, so you need 10, 30. Can I zip in dot values? Oh, can do it out here.
Okay.
Then I think you should be able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then the value of so
Dictionary.
type you are getting, you don't have to cast it also. Then you don't have to do all these things. What you can do is you can just print M and N. That's all.
It's M
Not
again.
converted. Yeah, M and N has to be converted to a string.
No, no, the second line it should be N, right? It's M. Print M twice.
Yeah. So if I run this, this should get you the result. Yes.
Okay.
It is iterating for 3 times because that first dictionary has less number of elements.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting it like this. If you want to get the keys, then you can basically copy this whole thing, paste it like this, just do a differentiation also. Print the keys. You can just remove this factor here right now. D2 dot keys again. D1 dot keys and D2 dot keys, and they can, I call this MNOP,
It should be
and
never.
I have to print it out in string format, so I have to convert this to a string. This will only give you the, okay, this is key should be right. Let's run this. You get the keys, and if you want to get key value pairs, then value pair, then you have to use
Mhm.
QR, and the function that you have to use it
Items.
d1 dot items. And then convert it to string. And let's run this key value pairs you're getting. And it is iterating three times again because the number of elements in the first dictionary is less. So iteration will happen on the dictionary which has a lesser number of elements. So you're getting key value pairs. Okay. Now once I get now if I only get the values, I will be basically now able to do mathematical operations on the values. That's possible now.
Mhm.
So this is what the zip function can be used. So you can write it down out here. The zip functions can be used for
List tuple
tuple list
and
and dictionary. So that's finished up with loop statements with zip class and range class.
yeah.
The next part will be creating, functions. So functions without parameters, with parameters, with return types,
Mhm.
uh, and functions will be created always inside a module. And this functions thing is an important thing. Should I start today or should I? Anyway, he's saying he's coming tomorrow to class. Should I do it tomorrow?
Mhm.
What do you say, Archita?
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, I said that should I start functions? It's an important thing
No,
because
no, we can do.
functions would be created inside your Python and for your Selenium robot framework also.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I get it.
think
We'll do it tomorrow
so
then. Sunday is there. No problem.
because I hope he comes tomorrow because he has written that he'll be there at 8 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No problem. We shall start it tomorrow then.
Okay, tomorrow the session will be from 8 to 10. After 10, they have some engagements, I think.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I'll send you the contents of today and the videos.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Kaushik, the third point should be zip class, right? Not function.
yeah, the class. Okay, so see you tomorrow 8.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.